The business management event that we decided to research and discuss is all the controversy and scandal that has been surrounding Papa John's Pizza and its founder, John Schnatter, since about December 2017. Papa John's Pizza was founded in 1984 by John Schnatter, and he acted as CEO until December when all this scandal first began. The company announced in December that John would step down as CEO after he blamed a decrease in sales and profit on the NFL. He stated that the NFL players who chose to kneel during the national anthem to protest racial injustice were the cause of the decrease in sales. He said that the NFL didn't handle these players properly and that it really hurt Papa John's and its shareholders. He said, quotes, "This should have been nipped in the bud a year and a half ago. The controversy is polarizing the customer and polarizing the country." After stepping down as CEO, John Schnatter did remain involved in the company, and he stayed on as the chairman. And then in February 2018, Papa John's and the NFL mutually agreed to end their sponsorship agreement. Fast forward to present day, July 2018, John Schnatter stepped down as the chairman after reports of him using the N-word on a conference call in May were confirmed. Schnatter used the racial slur while participating in a role-playing exercise designed to prevent PR crises. He was talking to a marketing agency when he was asked how he would distance himself from racist groups online. He responded, "Colonel Sanders called blacks blank, and he never faced public backlash for it." Although some people did report that Schnatter's comments were intended to demonstrate his stance against racism, many people on the call were extremely offended, and this marketing agency ended their contract with Papa John's soon after the call. This went public on around July 12th, July 13th, and soon after that, the Major League Baseball team, the Miami Marlins, also ended their promotional deal with Papa John's, and Schnatter resigned from the University of Louisville Board of Trustees. 2 days after he admitted using the word, the company decided to remove his face from the company's marketing materials. Previously, you could find Schnatter on Papa John's commercials, the website, pizza boxes, coupons, and anything in that matter. He still remains on the board, and he owns 30% of the company's shares. And then in a letter to the board, he said it was a mistake for him to resign. He said it was a mistake because the board of directors didn't condone any investigation into the scandal. On July 23rd, the board of directors approved a poison pill provision, which is designed to prevent John Schnatter from gaining any more control over the company. This goes into effect if Schnatter and his associates increase their stake from 30% to 31%, or if anybody else acquires 15% of Papa John's common stock in a deal that was not approved by the board of directors. So after we reviewed this whole scandal, the two management concepts that really came to mind were interpersonal communication and unethical behavior.
During a conference in May, Papa John's Pizza, used the N-word. In this conference, they were addressing a statement John had made blaming his subpar sales on the protests that were happening in the NFL. This caused him to step down as CEO to just be a chairman and end up in the partnership between Papa John's and the NFL. Because of the word choice John used during this conference call, he then had to step down as chairman. However, these are not the only times that we have heard of this type of situation from John. Back in 2012, John stated that Obamacare was a lose-lose situation, and he said it would inevitably cause him to bring up the prices of pizza. This caused some controversy and promised a boycott, and Papa John's shares decreased by 4.2%. During this year alone, share of Papa John's are down 36%. As of now, John still owns 29% of the company. He does not plan to give that away easily. An executive that has left the company stated that, in quotes, "The only people that are staying there are the people that can't get a good job elsewhere." Amid the controversy and backlash, more and more bad stories seem to come about. There have been reports of sexually inappropriate conduct and at least 2 confidential settlements. Interpersonal skills are the ability to communicate with, understand, and motivate both individuals and groups. As a manager climbs the organizational ladder, he or she must be able to get along with subordinates, peers, and those at higher levels of the organization. Along with people in the organization, managers must also get along with those outside of the organization, such as suppliers, customers, and investors. These are a few basic management functions that, in order to be carried out effectively, need fundamental management skills. Of the different fundamental management skills, interpersonal skills is one of the most important. With good management skills, such as interpersonal skills, John would have better knowledge on what he can and can't say around certain people. When you're in constant communication with people both inside and outside of the organization, you cannot play around with any controversial statements. Even though he may have been trying to downplay his statement by giving an example of Colonel Sanders, it all brought even more backlash and a huge fall in shares. Without interpersonal skills, it would be very difficult to be an effective manager. Through Papa John's history, we see that he is not only lacking in interpersonal skills, but several other fundamental management skills. Without these skills, it would be difficult to impossible to run any business without some sort of backup.
Unethical behavior is the action that falls outside of what is considered morally right or proper for a person, profession, or industry. Even though John Snyder used the racial slur in an exercise against racism, it is still a clear sign of unethical behavior because of how offensive that word is to people. Snyder also believed that it was a mistake that he resigned from being the director of Papa John's after the scandal broke. In a letter that he wrote to the press which stated, "I am confident that an examination of the facts will bear out what I have written in this letter and show that once again our company has demonstrated that it does not know how to handle a crisis of misinformation." It would also be unethical of the board of directors to reinstate Schneider as the chairman once again. When stories like this come out, the public's attention is when stories like this comes out to the public's attention, it is best for companies to distance themselves from the problem, which in this case would be John Snyder himself. If the company does reinstate him, this will definitely have a negative impact on future sales, because for the public, it would seem that the company was okay with what Schneider said on that conference call. Ways for Papa John's to prevent future unethical behaviors are: make sure all employees and managers review company policy regarding appropriate workplace discussions, hold managers and top executive members to the same standards as employees, and discuss ethical issues and behaviors with employees during regular and one-on-one meetings.
After John Schneider blamed the NFL and Players' National Anthem protest for a decrease in sales, the company conducted a conference call to discuss preventing controversies in the company. During the conference call, however, he dug himself into a deeper hole by using the N-word. He tried to justify his behavior by stating that Colonel Sanders called blacks the N-word and never faced public backlash. However, one company's unethical behavior does not justify your own. In late July 2018, Schneider's filed to sue Papa John's Pizza to obtain documents that he believes will help defend him from the N-word public scandal. The company responds, quote, "We are saddened and disappointed that John Schneider has filed a needless and wasteful lawsuit in an attempt to distract from his own words and actions. Schneider lacks the interpersonal skills required by top management to effectively run a company. By using the N-word, his unethical behavior causes him to lose the respect of his colleagues, peers, and customers. The company's poison pill plan will help prevent any person or group from gaining control of Papa John's through the open market by requiring them to pay an appropriate control premium." Schneider publicly apologized for using the N-word, but claims that he made a mistake by resigning as board chairman. Papa John's has recently hired a law firm in Washington to oversee an audit and investigation that will examine all, quote, "existing processes, policies, and systems related to diversity and inclusion, supplier and vendor engagement, and Papa John's culture," end quote. After Schneider used the N-word and resigned as board chairman, his name has been removed from a basketball gym in his hometown. He resigned from the University of Louisville's Board of Trustees. The company prevented Schneider from using the Louisville's headquarters offices, and his name has been removed from the University of Louisville's Cardinal Stadium.